they'd get angry at me all the time, and I was scared to even do something carpentry wise because I was scared I was going to mess up, and I'll just get roused on for it.
G'day everyone, welcome back to another episode of Level Up. We are back in the shed this afternoon for another cracking episode. I'm really pumped about this one because we've actually put a shout out to get some apprentices on for a while now, and no one's jumped out to have a crack. So we've actually, the first one off the bat is actually a cracker. It's Campbell Smith, who has just been nominated or just won the award for Master Builders Brisbane Apprentice of the Year. How are you, mate?
Yeah, good. Thanks for having me.
I think you're a brave man coming on and having a chat, being an apprentice and telling us what goes on.
Yeah, well, I was pretty stoked to get that award, and I wasn't expecting it at all. But yeah, I was pretty keen to come on and just talk about what life is like as an apprentice.
No, mate, I think it's awesome. So you're a little bit behind the scenes, Phil. So you started as a Sparky. You had a crack at that.
Yeah, well, I wouldn't say I started as a Sparky. I during school on holidays and stuff like that, I would go into work experience and stuff like that. So I worked with CV, like a big commercial company, doing that. I also worked at one of my mates have a electrical company, Bear Electrical, and I worked with him for a little bit there. But I kind of wanted to just you know span my options and stuff like that. So I started to go into carpentry and fell in love with it.
Yeah. So was that you did the electrical stuff through a school-based thing?
Yeah.
Or just one day a week? Or?
Yeah. No. At my school, I went to Villanova College, and we had like a really good program that could get in contact with all these trades. So through school, I would get sent to these different trades. So I got to get a taste of what both of them were like.
Yeah. Awesome. Well, mate, I'm keen to dig deep today because you started off with a bit of a bad experience, and then you've been pretty blessed with where you've ended up to do your apprenticeship.
Yeah.
And look, I think it's really important I talk about it all the time. Like, I've had a lot of personal growth and stuff, and like I think back to how I treated some of the apprentices 5-10 years ago that went through our company. They would get treated very differently now, and even apprentices we've had recently. And the way that some of our staff communicate with them and things like, so I'm very big on learning and improving and making sure the culture and the team is really big. But I'm keen to hear your point of view as a young guy that's in the trenches, actually they're doing it at the moment. Like, you got a wicked boss in Matt. Like, so you work, Campbell's currently working for Matt and the team at Frameology, who's also going to come on the podcast in a couple of months' time. But tell us how you started. So you had a bad experience with someone else previous to Matt, didn't you?
Yeah. So this was also from school as well. I got sent to another builder who I was on trial with a few other blokes, and I was lucky enough to get the gig. I was there for about 3 months doing my probation and stuff like that. Then I was there for another 3 months when I started my apprenticeship, and basically said that this is probation, your next 3 months is probation. So I pretty much did 6 months of probation, and within that was COVID. So I graduated in 2019, went straight into work, did about 6 months of work. COVID hit early 2020, and he lost a massive contract, so I got let go, which was a blessing in disguise, I would have to say. Cause
so what do you think was like what made it difficult there? Like, was it? Do you think it was the employer, or was it like you're green coming into the job? Like,
I was and of course I was green going into the job because everyone is. Like, I've just come out of school, I wouldn't even know what a hammer was or an impact driver. I had no idea, but I wouldn't learn anything. I'd just be digging, and I know, and first years obviously have a lot of that, but when you have none of it, you go into second year and you go, well, when am I actually going to start learning this stuff? Because I didn't actually get to learn anything. So but when I got let go, I had to go to Matt and say, hey, thanks for taking me on board, but I don't know anything.
Yeah.
And I'm 6 months into my apprenticeship and I've still got no idea. And which was good to get out to him. But
So for builders and well, even carpenters and stuff working for builders, like what, I think this is a really good conversation. Like why do you think that was? Like what do you think, like they didn't trust you? Like I think this is something that is really important, and because like I said, I've changed a lot, and I'm working on my older members of my team. Like people have to learn. Like none of us get to where we are instantly. Like we've all had to learn. We've all had to make mistakes and fuck ups and cost money and all those types of things. So like, why do you think you didn't get to learn in those first 6 months?
Yeah, I don't know. I think it's because I mean, I started when I was 17, and I turned 18. I was young, and I think it's kind of just a stigma of like, pick on the young one. Like he's the young one, so I'll get him to do all the bad jobs, and we'll kind of just pick on him. Like some people get, it's almost therapy out of picking on someone, I reckon. It's crazy.
Well, they're taking their home life and their frustrations out on...
exactly. Whether they do have stuff going on at home or something like that, I just don't think it's the best way to go about it is taking it out at work. So, because then I would go home in such a terrible mood and stuff like that. But
and think that you're not achieving anything. Like you're wasting your time. But, so were you asking to do other tasks, or were you putting your hand up to try and do more?
Not really, because when I was 17, 18, I was kind of like in my little ball, and I didn't really want to go out because I was scared to like, they'd get angry at me all the time, and I was scared to even do something carpentry wise because I was scared I was going to mess up and I'll just get roused on for it. So like waking up every morning and having to go to work was like a bit of a struggle for me. Literally COVID hit. I lost my job and I was probably out of work for about 6 weeks until from my old job that I used to work at in school. I used to work at a cafe and I was a dish pig there. I was working for my godmother, and I met Matt, my current boss today, about 3.5 years ago at that cafe because he used to come in all the time with his dog and his partner Candace, and met him, and he was just willing to take me on. It was at the time it was him and another tradie. So at that time, and took me on, and he kind of said to me, he goes, "Oh, I just want to wait. I want to wait so that I don't want you starting on a terrible job. Like I've got these retaining walls that we're putting in, but I don't want you to start on that. I want you to start on like a better one." And I said, "Oh, nah. Like, can I just get on the retaining walls?" Because I was keen as I've never done stuff like that before. I was just digging and all that. So I was keen to do it. So he put me straight in the deep end. So it was me and the tradie doing these retaining walls. And
so what do you think the difference is? Like, was it just starting fresh and knowing what didn't work the first time, or like Matt's attitude was different? Like,
Matt is such a laid back person. He knows what he wants, and he's a people pleaser in a way, but also to an extent that he can get up people in the right tone, in the right sense. It's not like getting roused on all the time. And it's like that saying where, "Oh, I'm not mad, I'm just disappointed." And it's almost worse being disappointed. And that's what Matt gets. He doesn't actually get angry. He just gets disappointed, and then you go, shit, like I'm going to have to make it up to him.
Yeah.
So it's kind of, and I was saying it before, like throughout these 3.5 years, it's kind of crazy I could probably call him a friend. And I don't think many apprentices these days could call their boss a friend.
Yeah.
Which is probably the coolest part about it. And it makes me want to get up and go to work.
Yeah,
Like-
no, it's awesome. And I think, yeah, look, like I said, it's something that I'm always conscious of, and like I'm definitely on some of my team to change the way we deal with, and it's not even the younger ones, like just when we put new guys on, like everybody has different skill sets and whatever.
Personalities.
Personalities, opinions, all these types of things. And I think it's good that you pointed out, like it made you feel shit going to work. And like when bosses, because I thought the two bosses I had through my apprenticeship were just animals, mate. Like just the way that they yelled and like worked me like a dog. And it was horrible. Like I hate it, and I busted my ass.
Yeah. Exactly.
But I look back now, and like I wouldn't be where I am now if it wasn't for them driving me so hard.
Yeah.
But I believe there's ways you can get people to get good at what they do and have good output without having to treat them like a dog all the time.
Yeah, exactly. And a lot of tradies say that to me. So like they go, "Oh, back when I used to be an apprentice, I used to."
Well, I think
I used to get shit thrown at me. Oh, am I allowed to swear?
Yeah, mate, it's go for your life.
Get stuff thrown at me, and
mate, it's a daily sentence on a job site. Like I've got guys that say that as well. Like, fuck, when I was an apprentice, like you got, and they'll say, like I hear people say, like you don't know what it's like. Like I used to get kicked up the ass or shit thrown at me. Like,
and I say to them, well, did you like that?
Yeah.
If you didn't like it, why would you do it to somebody else?
Yeah.
And another one that goes around is, I used to be earning this much an hour. And you just go, yeah, but also your house costed you $100,000.
Yeah.
So it's a bit different.
Mate, there's
10 years ago, like,
mate, there's
was
not
a lot of difference.
There's not it's funny, the more you, and look, I hope you take away from this podcast today, like the more time, money, energy you spend on yourself, the better your life's going to be.
Yeah.
It's funny because so many people are just stuck in this very closed mind, and then they pick on things like that.
Yeah.
Like, and it's just such a stupid thing to say.
Yeah.
Like, I only used to get paid $190 a week or something when I was an apprentice. You're getting $600 or $700, whatever it may be. But exactly like you said, like they're probably paying 28 cents a litre for fuel, like not $2. Like
I'm dropping $150 at the servo.
Yeah.
No, it's definitely a lot different from, what I've heard being an apprentice was. But yeah, once you start getting treated like shit, and you don't even want to be there.
Yeah.
Like,
and the last thing you're going to do when you don't want to be there is perform.
Why would you respect someone? Why would you show respect to someone who doesn't show respect to you?
Yeah.
Is probably one of the main things I'd say, because if I'm just getting roused, there's no point just giving him the time of day if I don't get anything out of it except for just.
So for all, like, I hope there's lots of, like, well, I know there's quite a few younger people listening to this podcast, and like you're probably massive on your social medias, mate. I can like strapping young surfy guy. You probably got your shirt off every weekend, buddy, getting all the followers. But I'm probably a little bit old fashioned with this, because I do feel that the younger generation does have a bit of an easier ride with a few things. Like,
yeah, for sure.
There's no cane and detentions and shit at school, like all that sort of stuff. But like, what do you think young people need? Like, what sort of encouragement or what sort of feedback do they need to actually get motivated? Because like, we really struggle to find apprentices. I'm sure you've seen it working with Matt. Like, we couldn't, like, every builder, every tradie I know could employ another apprentice.
Yeah.
But trying to find young people
and
that will put in effort is very hard.
Yeah, it is hard. And what I was saying before with Matt, like, he's a perfect example. He doesn't get angry at you. He gets he just gives you like constructive criticism. He's more disappointed than angry. And
you got an example? What's a recent example?
Well, when Matt gets angry, he pretty much walks away.
Yeah.
He doesn't say a thing, and he walks away, because it's just, his way of getting angry, and he doesn't want to show it in front of people, which is, I reckon, one of
It's very
his
professional.
and it's one of his best traits, I reckon. Like, he walks away and lets it get, like, tries. He obviously doesn't let it go for a long time, but I shouldn't say a long time. Like, but he, and then when it comes back to it, you kind of just go, oh shit, like, I've messed up here, and he will tell you what you've done wrong and what you need to do next time, and it's just dwelled in your brain that you have to, next time you do this said task, you're gonna have to go through all the steps that you didn't do. If that makes sense. Like, I think that's one thing that, going back to your question, it's what does he do differently? Yeah, he's calm. He's very, very calm, and there's times where I look at him and I go, how haven't you, like, blown your shit up? Like, he's very, in that sense, he's very, very admirable.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But like, so what is something that drives you? Like, if you, like, because you've obviously put in the hard yards, like, you don't win Apprentice of the Year for no reason. Like, what is it that drives you to work well for Matt? Like,
well, as I was saying before, like, if you get respected and you get shown respect, you want to, as an apprentice, as a young person, you want to show respect back. And the only way to show respect back really is hard work. So he goes, you know what, I'm going to pay X amount above the minimum, but I want to see this. I want to see, you need to prove to me that you are worth this. So then you go in your head, you go, all right, what can I do next how can I step it up? Because obviously you go through first, second, third year, and they all get a pay rise. And he goes, you need to prove to me why you're worth this, because there's no point having you on if you're not worth it. So it's all stuck in your head, and you just go, all right. Well,
so I think you've got a really good attitude, mate, because there's a lot of young people out there that don't, and well, not even young people, there's a lot of people out there, full stop, that don't have that attitude. I do the exact same thing Matt does. I think, like, and you might have heard me say this if you listen to the podcast, like, I'll pay people that work for me whatever they want if they're adding that value to my business. Well, and it's not just that value. It's like, generally someone has to add double what you're paying them, because obviously you got all the costs of business and insurance and things. But it's pretty easy to me, and that's how I got it flogged into me. Like, you show me what you're worth, and I'll pay you.
I'll bring
what
this
you
to
want.
the table if you bring this. Yeah.
Yeah. So what makes you different from so many other young people out there at the moment? Like, you're obviously a driven person, because, and like, I saw it a lot through COVID with like, people that were given that opportunity. Yeah. And they were just like, oh, stuff you, this builder over here, he needs help. He's just going to pay me straight off the bat. He doesn't even know what I do. I'm going to go and work for him. Yeah. Like, long term, that's a shit attitude. But
what makes me different? It's very hard to explain, because there's so many good. Like, I know there's some terrible. There's stories of terrible.
I'm sure you got lots of mates your same age that are going through apprenticeships and stuff. Like,
exactly.
Are they the same?
Like, well, like, I do like a few cash jobs on the weekends with some mates. I mean, my brother has just gotten out of his apprenticeship. He's 22.
Don't mention cash, mate. The old taxman might be listening.
Yeah, no, just for mum. But he is like he's on par with me. Same with my mate. He's on par with me, and I just go, and I was thinking about it. I said, why me? And a lot of it has got to do with, I mean, there's obviously your practical side where you're a hard worker and you get noticed for being a hard worker. But there's also your theory side where in my first, second and third, I'm currently in my fourth year, but in my first, second and third year in theory, I smashed it out. So there would be a few days there, maybe like a rain day or where we couldn't work or we didn't have work on. I would smash my whole year's worth out, and I'd be ahead. And then my trainer would look at it and be like, because I got nominated by my trainer as well for this award.
Yeah, right.
So, and I think it comes down to also your theory. If you smash it out,
it's all effort, mate. People are seeing that you're putting in the effort.
Exactly, and if I've smashed it out and I've got nothing else to even worry about, it's not in the back of my mind at all. Or, so yeah, that's definitely one, because I hear a lot of stories from my trainer, and he has to chase these blokes up because they haven't done their weekly log, and they haven't. They're about to go into their next year and they haven't done it, and all that sort of stuff. So yeah, it's definitely one factor, but it's hard to talk about myself and how I'm so-called better than another apprentice. But I just think it's
being is a word. Like you're obviously very driven, and look, the whole point of this podcast is to level up the industry, make it better, and I don't think it matters what level you're at. If you're an apprentice like yourself, or you're a builder or a trader that's been in the industry for 30 years, like, you've got to put in the effort.
Yeah.
Like, effort gets results. Like, action takers are money makers. Like, and I think you're going to have a long, successful career, mate. Like but so what? Like, do you know any younger people your age, or even that you talk to at college and stuff, that are saying like, "Oh, this is shit. My boss treats me like shit." Like, what's the stories that go around?
Yeah, there are a few people like that, but my theory is actually online, so I don't actually go into a class or anything like that. So I don't get to meet people in the similar sort of boat as me, but it's more my friends. Like, I've got a few friends that have really good bosses, and then I've got a few friends that hate it, and they're so, like, there's a few of my mates that have left building as a whole. I've got a mate who was a sparky, and he left and became a real estate agent because he just didn't like it. Yeah, it wasn't for him. And I think a few of the people at his work would treat him like he was. Like, I mean, he was a fourth year. Yeah, and that's getting to the stage where when you're a fourth year, you're now training to be. You're not training to be an apprentice. You're training to be a carpenter. And I think that's where the difference is. A lot of people train you to be an apprentice. They want you to be a good apprentice. They want you to be a good apprentice. But the way Matt saw it was, in the future, I want you to be a good tradesman. And I want you to be reliable. And so he put so much time and effort into me that when I get signed off quite soon, that I can go out and obviously not run my own jobs yet, but I'm getting there. Yeah,
you got confidence.
Yeah,
it's it's a funny thing, mate. Like, there is so much to know. Like, and look, you definitely can't learn everything you need to learn in 3 or 4 years. Like, and a lot of what you learn, you'll only learn through experience. Yeah. Whether it's fucking things up or doing demo jobs and seeing what other people have done wrong. Like, there's so many ways of learning in our industry, but it's just having that drive and that initiative, I think, to be hungry for it.
Yeah, you have to be.
Like, you sound like you're very hungry for growth.
Yeah. Well, I mean, yeah, you look at it and you go 4 years, and you're a first year apprentice, and then just say you look at a set of plans and you go, how on earth am I going to know what that's going to, like, what that says? I have no idea. And how does this 4th year apprentice know what it all says? Like, I won't be able to learn that in 4 years. But once you start putting your mind to it, you can actually learn it quite quickly.
Do you like read plans and look at documents after hours and stuff, and prepare for new jobs? And
because Matty has this. We're on Builder Trend. I'm not sure if you're aware of Builder Trend, but he has our jobs up on there, and he's just got it all organized. He's got all these folders in there of engineering and the architectural, and then when it gets changed, you can change the show the changes of the plans and stuff like that. So yeah, when we're starting a new job, I definitely go through and there's obviously things where you you've got to do tomorrow, and you know you got to do tomorrow. So you have a look at it. So you can just go on your phone and just have like, maybe it even be 10 seconds. You look at it and you go, oh, it's going to be like this. And you go back the next day and you know what you're doing.
Yeah.
So I think that's a really good thing to have, is build a trend. Well, I mean, I'm sure there's a few other things a few other apps that you can have it online and stuff like that. But
yeah, but
I
again,
think it's
you're
awesome.
taking the initiative to suss things out before you get there. But like looking back through your time, like, and like, what's some things that you feel would help you get ahead? Like, I'm a really big fan of like toolbox talks, and like even I try and get my team, like, they do a bit, but like I think they should happen every morning.
Yeah.
Like, have a run through every single morning. Righto, guys, this is where we got to yesterday. This is what's next. Who's doing what? What do we need? Are we short on materials? Do we have everything? Like, let's get set up. Like,
and it's thinking
take that
ahead.
time to think ahead.
Yeah. We do the same thing. It's Matt sits us down, and he's a massive, and funnily enough, it being Are You Okay Day, he literally sits us down and asks us that question, and we've made it a thing where we ask each other what we are on a scale of 1 to 10.
Yeah.
And obviously 10 being the best and 1 being the worst. So that at the start of the morning, you know whether he's feeling all right or stuff like that. So we do that every morning.
Yeah, right.
And yeah, just to see how everybody is. And obviously there's sometimes where someone's like a 5 and you go, oh, like what's up? Because we're usually like an 8 but if someone's like a 5, we go, all right, well, he's feeling down in the dumps. We won't ask him why, but we'll just leave him alone for a little bit. Like so when we're in the morning and we do our toolbox talk and stuff like that, we can send him off to a job that he can just do by himself. So he's not with anybody else, and he can just just chill out a little bit. And
that's pretty cool. So what, you all meet in the one spot every morning and
so when I said job, then I meant like a task in the job, but we just meet on site, and we've got a couple of sites at the moment, so and we're all just set in stone in the one site, but I think that, and that's also like a factor that they care, like they actually care. Me being an apprentice, and they're like, oh, how are you feeling today? Every day.
Yeah.
And you just go, yeah, well, thanks for asking. Like that's made my day. It's really good.
It's the little things that can make the big difference.
Yeah, it is.
I think that's a really good thing to do. Like every single morning, asking the team if you're okay. Like that's, everyone should be doing something like that. Like not just waiting for these special days that you're meant to do it. But like what's been, like, apart from winning the Master Builders Apprentice of the Year, like what's been some big achievements for you through your time? Like,
well, obviously learning quickly is considered to me as one of my best achievements, because obviously I was saying before, I look at stuff and I go, how am I going to know what to do in 4 years time? And then now I'm here and I can do that sort of stuff. So doing that, and one of our coolest probably achievements as a team was heading up to 1770, and we were up there for a month building modular homes.
Yeah.
So that's more of a team probably accomplishment, but winning the award tops it off. I wasn't expecting it at all, but yeah, I'm so grateful to be recognized in such a big industry with so much talent and upcoming talent. So yeah, it's crazy.
So you were telling us before, mate, you weren't expecting it. You had a few beers on the night.
Yeah. Well, it was one of the last awards of the night, so
yeah, they always hold out those individual ones till the end. I think that's what they plan is they wait for everyone to get a few in them and then leave the ones that you got to do speeches till the end.
Exactly. So it's free drinks, so drinks just keep coming all night, and obviously I wasn't, and no one can expect to win such an award like that because there's so many talented people out there. So yeah, I was kind of sitting there going, I don't think I'm going to win it. So there's me just necking these things back. But yeah,
What was your speech like?
it was okay. I'm not very good at like public speaking and stuff like that, but me going up on stage, I went up on stage, got my plaque and stuff like that, and took a photo with him, and then I started to walk off stage, and he goes, "Oh, nah, you need to speak." And I said, "You're fucking kidding me, aren't you? There's no way I'm speaking." He goes, "No, you need to speak." So I went up there and basically just said all the thank yous and stuff. Thanks to my boss, thanks to Candace and our tradies and stuff like that. So I kept it short and sweet, but I think that's probably the best way to do it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So how have you, like, what's the deal these days with Apprentice, like with tools and things? Like, you don't get tool allowance anymore, do you?
No, so we actually get a loan. So I'm not doing it, but when you start your apprenticeship, they give you a 20 grand loan, but it comes in increments. So it comes monthly. The first year is like $700 a week, $700 a month. And then the second year is like 500 and just goes down and down and down. But it ends up being about 20 grand and you have to pay 16 of it back. So if you're smart with it, you can just make money off it. But I took it for the first year. Yeah, I haven't been taking it since then.
Because it's interest-free and stuff, but again, it can set you up for disaster. You're getting in that
it's like
rhythm
a hex
of
loan.
bloody borrowing money, even from a young age. But
Yeah.
like, do you, because again, I just see so many young people drive around now and they've got all this new gear. Like,
Yeah.
are you proud of your tools? Like, you put a lot of time into making sure you've got all the right gear?
Yeah. So I actually started with one tool, which was Makita. I got a little pack of Makita, and they all started just going to shit because so, and Matt at the time was working some DeWalt, so I was like, you know what, his isn't doing that. So at the moment I've got a bit of Makita and a bit of DeWalt stuff that survived of Makita, and then the rest of it's DeWalt. But it's another thing about being a good apprentice is like, I think you need the tools, because there's nothing more annoying.
100%, mate.
There's nothing more annoying than someone going all day, can I borrow this for a sec? Can I borrow this for a sec? And once it just keeps happening, you don't have your tools there. It wastes time, and you start doing nothing, and you get
from
frustrated.
A boss's perspective, like seeing younger team members put effort in and make sure they're building their, like, you don't expect them to have all the tools straight away. Like, it takes time and money and stuff, but like just seeing them put in the effort and buying a tool every now and then, and I think that's massive. Again, it's just that initiative, making sure you got the right gear,
and it shows that you're keen. So if you were to go into a job and you've got nothing, there's no point, because if you have a car full of tools and you're a first year apprentice, which I've seen a lot of people. I'm on a few Facebook groups that have apprentices and they post their tools, and you look at it and you go, he looks keen, like,
because he's got all the gear.
Yeah, he's got all the gear. And I mean, I'm no builder or anything like that, but if I was a builder, I'd look at that and I'd go, wow, this guy's keen, so I'll give him a shot. But
you've got to have the right gear, and the right gear and enough gear. That's you're more efficient at doing the job. Like, nothing shits me more when you see tradies, or like we're advertising for new employees and stuff, and you get a guy turn up for a carpentry interview and he's got a tray back ute with one little toolbox. And like, actually these days, I don't know, it's getting more and more common, but when you ask them what tools they got, they'll be like, oh, I got a Milwaukee pack, or I got a Makita pack. Like, where's the rest of it, mate? Like, where's your laser levels? Where's your drop saws? Where's your straight edges?
Nail gun.
Yeah.
Where's that?
No, I think having the initiative to build your quality tools up again just shows any employer that you're keen, and obviously, and you know what you're doing. Like, you've got the right tools to do the right job. So
that's definitely one of the big ones, I reckon.
Yeah. So have you enjoyed your apprenticeship? Like, because I think Matt's similar to us. Like you do everything, don't you? You do a bit
Yeah.
of footing and slab prep and like build and lifting unders and framing and cladding and like you do the whole show.
Yeah, we do everything. We even do our own roofs. We've just recently finished a job in Paddington, and we had to build I think it was like 4 meters high block wall. So we were doing like blocky work and stuff like that, which was because
Well, you're laying the blocks.
yeah,
Yeah.
it's good fun.
Block laying is oh man, I've had a couple of goes at that. That is one thing I cannot get right.
Yeah, it is tricky.
Mate, it is hard as to mix your mud with the right consistency so your
Yeah,
blocks
well, I
don't
was on
sink
the
in
mud.
it. And
I was on the mud, but there were times, especially for my training and stuff like that, because I have to take photos of me doing stuff. And for my training, it was really good because the boys would be like, "All right, Cam, get the trowel and we'll get you laying some blocks, just like a little planter box in the backyard."
yeah,
But it's cool to have all these different things. Like we do all our roofs, we do all our gutters and everything. Even I can't remember how many cube it was, but it was a massive amount of concrete at our recent Wingara job, Urongapilli job, and we concreted the whole thing. It was a top slab, and then it's probably a 900 mil step down to a garage, which was the top slab was flooring and tiles and stuff like that going over the top, so it didn't matter too much. But the garage was finished, and to get that experience of even concreting is so cool because there's not many apprentices that I think there wouldn't be many apprentices that will ever be able to learn that sort of stuff.
Oh mate, I tell my guys all the time, like I don't know if like they appreciate it, but like the younger guys coming through, like it is getting fewer and far between. Like a lot of carpentry apprentices now, like they're even split. Like they do their whole time just doing framing, or their whole time just doing cladding, or lockups or something.
Yeah.
Like to get like it's more of a building apprenticeship.
Yeah.
Like you're learning everything.
Yeah, and then it comes with like later on down the track, it's like what's cost effective? Like what was the difference between us doing this concrete and what was the difference between a concreter doing it?
Yeah.
Like we wouldn't have done it if it wasn't cost effective. So that's probably like the next step.
Yeah, well, there's lots of things that play into that. Like as you get more experience and you possibly start your own business, like there's so many things that come into play with stuff like that. Like it might have depended on timing or whatever it may have been, but just having the skills in your team that allow you to make that decision. Well, righto, this job's got to be done, or we can't get a concrete, or yes, it's going to save some money if we do it ourselves. Like having your skills is going to allow you to make those decisions moving forward. So, like, what's your plans? Like, do you plan on eventually being a builder, or?
Well, yeah, I reckon once I'm finished my apprenticeship and I've just got the tick, I reckon I'll probably start doing my Cert 4. And I don't want to jump into things too quickly because I've obviously just got still so much to learn, and I don't think anyone in this world has learnt everything. So
Never, mate. Especially with building, there is new shit to learn every single day.
Yeah, and I just don't want to jump into it too quickly. So I'm happy to just stay around with Matt and just to keep learning, really, because I mean, I've learned so much through 4 years, but I'm probably not even halfway.
Yeah.
Like I've still got so much to learn that's to do with like running my own jobs and stuff like that.
So what's your favourite part
of a build?
Of your like being a carpenter?
Being a carpenter.
What's something you really love doing?
I love the finishes. So when you come back and you've been on this job for a whole year and you get to look back and once it's all painted and stuff and the scaff is dropped and you look at it and you go, I built that.
Yeah.
It's probably the most satisfying thing about my job.
Yeah.
You look back and then you go, that used to look like this and now it's this monster.
Yeah. But what's the tasks that you enjoy doing? Like
tasks,
like fit out, framing, cladding, like.
I do like fitting out.
Yeah.
Fitting out where it's like more. It's really like picky. You can't, you don't have much room for error is kind of where I like to challenge myself. And I think being able to get stuff absolutely perfect is probably my main like pick me up. I just, when I get something right and like it looks perfect.
Well, again, that just shows you your initiative. Like you like to make sure things are done correctly. Like have you seen things that, like, have you brought stuff to the table? Like, I know, like, I'm a big fan of encouraging everybody, and it doesn't matter if they've only been doing it 2 weeks, but like someone, and I'm keen to know if you've been in this situation. Like, you might see something that's getting done on the jobs, and you just think, oh shit, like, why aren't we doing it like this? Like, that'd be heaps quicker. Like,
well, there's obviously like the really little bits. I haven't been involved in a big decision, and I don't think
but just
I
little
should
things.
be.
Like,
But
just little things. Like,
there are things like you're skirting and someone goes across and they do a miter to a door, and it's like you have to put like a little tiny little skirting piece in there, and I'd be like, oh, don't you reckon it would look better if we just do a return miter and finish and just once you look up, it's just like a square set into a return miter. It would look way better. And then they go, you know what? Yeah. And it's rewarding it's such a little thing, but it is rewarding to see that someone goes, you know what? Like, that's actually a really good idea.
Well, I think there's a lot of builders out there, mate, that don't let that happen. Like, everything's their way or the highway. Like, you've got to encourage your team or give your team permission to be able to have that input.
Yeah, well,
because no one knows everything.
Exactly, and it was really good for. So earlier in the year, we started off this year by doing modular homes in a shed. So we used to build these homes in a shed, and Matt was there with us, and he had an office set up there. So Matt's just been working his ass off in the office, and he doesn't really have that much time to get out on the tools. And so he kind of, in this this modular job, we had the Paddington job still going, so all the boys were finishing that off, and he set me the challenge, and he goes, you know what, like, here are the plans. You can see they're a bit different, obviously, because it's a modular home, so you've got like your set 1, 2, 3, and 4 modular homes, but I want you, he's like, I want you to start off by doing the floor system, and then I'll come out and check it. And then when you get that, it's almost freedom, and you get to decide what happens next. It's very rewarding, and then all you want to do is get it right. So you go in there and you start, I don't know, you get like really motivated and stuff like that to, because I've got someone next to me, and I'm telling them what to do. And yeah, it's really rewarding for him to just go, you know what? I want to see how you go. And he goes, well, if you mess it up, well, so be it. Like,
I think it's a good attitude. And I think it's something that a lot of builders or bosses out there overlook. Like, and I know I did for a very long time, but you've got to give your team permission to just do their own thing every now and then. And with younger guys like yourself, like, as a boss, there's going to be fuck ups.
Yeah.
Like, as simple as that.
Exactly.
Like, if it happens multiple times, yes, then something needs to be done about it. But the best way to learn is by getting in and having a go.
Yeah, and I think you learn more when you fuck up.
You learn more and you learn quicker.
Because you're not going to do it again.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's so many times where you mess up, and I still remember this time when I was probably like a second year, and I was doing my second ever door jam, like a French door.
Yeah.
And they I was building these jams out and stuff like that, and it was my second time doing it, and I messed my first one up really bad. And my boss goes, you know what? Go in there and try it again. We'll do it again. So I did it, and yeah, I'm a second year apprentice, so I've done it and started to do another task after that. And I see him walk into the room where the jams were, and he just yells my name out, Cam, come in here. And I've gone, oh, no. So I've walked in there, and he goes, tell me what's wrong with this. And I go, looking at it, and I've gone, oh, I don't know. What's wrong with it? He goes, no, tell me what's wrong with it. And I've gone, no, like, Matt, I seriously don't know. He goes, good, because it's perfect. And I've just got, like, everything has just come off my chest, and I'm just going, yes, I've smashed it out. That's the sort of banter that Matt and I have. Is he stitches me up, but it's all for a laugh. And
but he's giving you a crack. Like, if you didn't stuff it up the first time, you wouldn't have learnt what not to do the next time.
Exactly. But yeah, that's probably the biggest way to learn is, giving it a crack. And if you mess up, you learn even quicker.
Yeah. Well, growth is learning from your mistakes, mate. You're never going to have growth if you're not making mistakes. It's just, like I said, it's not doing them multiple times. But
yeah.
And like, well, that obviously gave you a heap of confidence. It would have given Matt confidence. And I'm sure after that, he would have let you try more things.
Yeah. Yeah, which happens all the time now. He just goes, I want you to do this. And obviously you mess up every now and then. But yeah, as you were saying, like, if you mess up all the time, then there's a bit of a problem.
Yeah.
But you mess up, you learn from it, you move on. You do it again and you do it right. So
with in your experience as a young fella, like what's worked best for you to feel confident and feel like you can leave a toolbox meeting, or you can start the day knowing what you've got to do? Like, I feel like, and again, I'll put my hand up, take ownership for it. Like, as a boss, sometimes you have so much going on and you're just like, hey, just get this done, do that. Like,
yeah.
And there's not enough instructions, or you're not,
yeah.
Like one of my big things now is like, you've got to slow down to move forward.
Yeah.
And I think sometimes you've got to just take a breath, slow it down with your team, take whatever it is, 5, 10, 30 minutes, explain it, make sure everything's nice and clear, and then let the team do it.
Well, I was talking with Matt not long ago, because we do these annual reviews, and we sit down and he tells me my good things and he tells me all my bad things that I have to work on and stuff like that. And one of the things that I brought up was, sometimes, this is more like my second year, third year, but I find it difficult to find the median between quality and quantity. So obviously you need to be pretty bang on, but you can't just take ages for it. Like, if you take heaps of time for it, it's not even a good it's not even good work. Yeah. So you need to find the happy median between a quality job and a fast job. And I think, as an apprentice, you're going through your first, second, third year, and yes, there's going to be some jobs where you will hate it, but someone has to do it. And it's not going to be the trader who's getting paid X amount. It's going to be you. So let that happen. But if you have a boss that will let you do that, once you finish that, you start doing some real carpentry work.
Yeah.
Then you, as a boss, I think the best way to go by this is, a good example is what Matt does. He lets me go on my own, and he waits for me to get it perfect. He doesn't really care how long I take in my first, second, third year. But I start to get it perfect, and once I get it perfect, I can get it perfect the next time, but just that little bit quicker.
Yeah.
And then I get it perfect the next time, and a little bit quicker, and it starts to just even out of quality and quantity of work.
Yeah. Mate, even just the fact that the age you are and still being an apprentice, and you're actually thinking about that, shows a lot about you. Because mate, we've had so many tradies over the years that they just don't get it. And even in the last few months, I've had to have words with some newer tradies that we put on. Like, one example was, it was the first time they'd done some fit out while they'd been working for me, and like, they literally took 6 hours to hang. And I know, because it was on a job that I was physically there for. And they took 6 hours to jam up and hang and fit 2 barn sliding doors. And
right.
Like, mate, seriously, you've done a perfect job, but with what I'm paying you and what those materials cost, if I add it all up, it gets to this. Would you pay that for what you've just done? I'm like, oh, yeah, probably not.
Probably not.
Well, like, come on, like, I'm paying you as a tradie, like, you got to get some speed. Like,
And I think that's probably one of the best things to do as a boss is put stuff in perspective, because that's what Matt does really, really well. Like I'll get something perfect, but it's really slow. And he goes, so you took X amount, it costs X amount to do this, and this is what I expected. I expected it to be this much, and now it's this much. Would you pay this much for what you just did? And you kind of look and you go, nah, there's no way. So yeah, that's also part of just like the learning curve of it. So yeah, it's great for a boss, I think, to put stuff in perspective, because you can look back and go, all right, nah, that's not acceptable.
Yeah.
Because you don't get to see, some people just don't get to see the perspective of the boss.
Well, they're just not in that mindset, and they don't. And look, if you're not a boss that sort of points that type of stuff out, and like, I'm a big fan. It's like we talked about before with the I'll pay you what you're worth if you add that value. Like, it's the same deal. Like, if you perform in a way that gives my clients value, that's what I'm after.
Yeah.
Like, because if you're slow, then that's making my costs more expensive, which makes it harder for me to get more work.
Yeah.
So yeah, look, and I think it sounds like Matt's onto it, because I think it's good advice for all bosses, employees, builders out there. Like, I'm a huge fan of letting my team know the bigger picture.
Yeah.
Like, you've got to look at the bigger picture with everything, I believe. You can't just be focused on this one part of it. Like, you've got to know the bigger picture and know why, if you take that long to do that, then that costs that much, and then that's going to cost, then I've got to charge this, and then I've got to charge the client that. Like, look, some people it might not, but most people, they'll go, oh shit, yeah, right. Like, I wouldn't pay that, so yeah, I better pull my finger out.
Yeah. Yeah,
But,
it's a bit of a wake up call.
Yeah.
For anyone, whether it be a tradie or an apprentice.
Yeah. So, mate, I want to ask you a couple of questions now before we wrap it up. So, like, if first one's for, we'll go with the bosses to start with. Like, for any bosses out there that may, whether it's apprentices or employers or whatever, but if they're having a bit of trouble with getting their team motivated, I want to hear it from you, mate. Like, what's some advice you could give to people to get their teams motivated?
I think it's, if you treat your team, whether it be an apprentice or the whole team, if you treat them with respect, they will treat you with respect through work. They'll showcase their hard work. And if you respect them, that is their way of showing respect back. Because if you don't respect them and you rouse on them all the time and they don't want to be there, there's no point of an apprentice coming in every single day and getting roused on, because he's not going to do work for you.
Yeah.
And then it gets worse and worse and worse until he's gone. So there's a lot of things out there where I probably wasn't, at my old company, I probably wasn't the best, but it's because I'd get roused on every day, and the absolute last thing I wanted to do was to go to work, and I didn't want to be there, and I probably was starting to become a terrible worker. And it's not because I wanted to be a terrible worker, it's because I didn't want to put any effort in, because nobody showed me respect. And I think that's, as an employer, you do actually show your respect through work, because you're getting X amount of money, and he says, oh, you have to showcase to me what you're worth. So it's kind of your bond between your boss and employee, and how much respect they give you, I think.
So before I go on to my next question, like, just, can we dive into a bit, like, you getting to that, like, not wanting to go to work? Because I think this happens to a lot of people.
Yeah, and I think it's like, we're struggling to get apprentices out there now. We're struggling to get tradies as well, but the apprentices, when they're getting roused on,
it's very hard.
day.
Like, and again, I've got I don't know, I got theories on everything, but like I think everything comes back to the money thing. Like there are so many bosses and builders out there that are just running shit businesses, so they're just constantly under pressure. So they're always expecting apprentices to know what they're doing.
Yeah.
And you can't, because you're green.
Yeah.
Like everybody has to learn.
Yeah.
Like no one comes and starts a job and just knows what to do.
Yeah.
Like especially an apprentice. Like if you go to uni, you're getting taught how to do what you want to do before you actually do it.
Yeah.
When you're an apprentice, you're expected to know it straight away.
Yeah.
Like there's no teaching.
Because you're getting paid to do it.
You're getting paid to do it.
Yeah, but it's like I would go in every day and just go, nah, I don't really want to work for you because you don't want me there. It feels like you don't want me there. Maybe you do, but I don't feel like...
If you look back, so I've got a saying I live my life by, like nothing happens to you, everything happens because of you. Like if you think back, is there something you could have done differently to get respect from them?
Oh, I don't know. Because I think, I said it earlier, people get therapy out of picking on someone because they've obviously had a terrible time at home but I think they've already made their decision up before you get there. So they know this 17-year-old apprentice is coming in. Yeah, I'm going to pick on him. He needs to learn this way, which I personally don't think is the right way because
it's definitely not the right way.
I don't want to work. And it comes down to that.
So there's no times where you could have tried to got asked to them, hey, I'm not sure, like, would you mind showing me how to do this, or I didn't get that, or could I have a go at something else? Or
looking back at it, I go, I wish I did say stuff like that, but me being a 17-year-old, I was a lot different, and I didn't really want to. I was in my own little bubble, and I didn't want to come out of it. I didn't want to ask to do this, or I didn't even really want to talk to them, to be honest.
Because it's a big thing, eh? Like because you're still a boy, and you're on this job sites, and you're expected to be a man.
You just come out of school. I had just come out of school, gone to schoolies. The next week, I had my first week, and school and work is a lot different. So it was such a wake up call to see, the reality of work. But the difference between that was my old company, but then my new company that I say new, but I've been there for 3.5 years now, and I'm loving it. I was I think must have been a second year apprentice, and Matt gave me a company van where I would store all the tools and stuff like that for the boys, and I would get a fuel card and stuff and all that. And I look and I've just gone, well, I must have earned this. And I also need to show why I deserve this. So it's kind of just like, he's shown me respect by, giving me this car.
And trusting you.
Yeah, because he wouldn't give it to someone that he didn't like or was
not
terrible.
Performing,
So gave that to me, and it was kind of like a little pep up, and you go, all right, sweet, I'm going to what can I do next to impress him? So, that's the difference, where I don't want to impress the blokes at my old company, but I want to impress Matt because he's kind of impressed me. So what can I do to impress him? So
mate, what about, like, what's your advice for younger people out there that might be thinking about becoming a apprentice?
Well, you work a third of your life. So if you were to become an apprentice, yes, they're sussing you out on how good you are or how motivated you are. You show you 100%, but if you also have to suss out whether this is going to be a good place to stay, because you're at work for a whole third of your life. If you're at a job where you don't really want to be at, you're not going to like it. So, in a sense, you have to know what know what they're like, and they need to know what you're like. So being an apprentice is when you go in there, and it's just say you've just come out of school and all those kids are addicted to being on their phones. And if you go in there, and I'm obviously not a builder, but being a builder and seeing someone on their phone when they're not supposed to be would be the most frustrating thing for someone to see. Because
mate, phones are costing every single one of us so much money from people just being unproductive.
Yeah, because you just, once you get into a rhythm, you just keep going and going and going. You go on your phone, and then you just slow down. You go, oh, what's next? So you don't need it. Get off it. You don't need your phone there. What do you need your phone for? There's Smoko for that. You can go on it after work. You can be off your phone for 4 hours, then Smoko, then you can be off it for 4 hours again. It's not that hard. And obviously you need to take like important calls and stuff like that, but it's also like you get a call and you look to see if it's important or not. It's even pulling it out and like the boss seeing you pull out your phone and it looks like you're just on your phone. It's a terrible look. So I'm actually not even wearing it now, but I wear an Apple Watch. So it connects up to my phone. I leave my phone downstairs or wherever, out of sight, out of mind.
Yeah.
And if a call comes through, I can see it, and I can, whether it's an important call or not, I can take it or I can. Working. So, you need to be, to answer your question, you need to be motivated. And you need to find someone who motivates you though. So life as an apprentice now compared to what it used to be is a lot better, but you also need to, you need to find your ground, I think.
Yeah, no, well, mate, look, I think, I think you're going to go a long way. So I'm keen to see you. I'll have to start following you on Instagram, mate, and bloody keep an eye on you. But
yeah,
look, hats off to you for showing initiative and putting in the effort, and you can tell by just the way you talk and the way you think that you're going to have a big future ahead of you. So good luck to Matt, and good luck to you for your future, and thanks very much for coming on.
Yeah, thanks for having me. It's been a pleasure.
Cheers, mate.
Are you ready to build smarter, live better, and enjoy life? Then head over to livelikebuild.com/elevate to get started.
Everything discussed during the Level Up podcast with me, Dwayne Pearce, is based solely on my own personal experiences and those experiences of my guests. The information, opinions, and recommendations presented in this podcast are for general information only, and any reliance on the information provided in this podcast is done at your own risk. We recommend that you obtain your own professional advice in respect to the topics discussed during this podcast.